In the twilight of our years, as the shadows of time stretch long and golden across the tapestry of our lives, our bodies begin to whisper truths we cannot ignore. These whispers, often dismissed as mere inconveniences, carry the weight of wisdom accumulated through decades of living. For those of us who have walked this earth for many seasons, who have watched the world change through the lens of our own aging eyes, these subtle signals, aches, fatigue, and even the persistent itch that seems to linger on our skin, become more than fleeting annoyances. They are the language of our bodies, speaking to us in a voice both ancient and urgent, a voice that demands we listen. Here in America, where the hustle of youth often overshadows the quiet dignity of age, we must pause and heed these messages, for they may hold the key to not just a longer life, but a life lived with clarity, strength, and peace. Have you ever found yourself scratching at a spot on your skin, a nagging itch that seems to come from nowhere, only to wonder what your body might be trying to tell you? As we grow older, our bodies become more vocal, their messages delivered through sensations we might otherwise overlook. A slight ache in the morning, a weariness that settles into our bones by evening, or an itch that persists despite our best efforts to soothe it. These are not mere trifles to be brushed aside. They are the quiet alarms of a system that has served us faithfully for decades, now asking for our attention in return. While most of us might attribute a mild itch to the dryness of our skin, a passing irritation, or the inevitable toll of aging, the truth runs deeper. The places where we itch, especially in our later years, can reveal far more than we might imagine. In fact, for us as elderly Americans, certain areas of chronic itching may be tied to underlying health concerns, serious issues that could, if left unchecked, quietly shorten the time we have left on this earth. Yes, something as simple as a persistent itch might be your body's way of raising a red flag, a warning that the time has come to pay closer attention. In the pages of this journey, we will explore 4 specific areas on the body where itching in older adults might signal deeper, more profound health problems. These are not mere guesses, nor are they the old wives' tales our grandmothers might have shared over a cup of tea on a porch in the deep South. These insights are grounded in real patterns, observed by doctors and researchers who have dedicated their lives to studying aging and longevity. Each of these itchy spots tells its own story, a story of blood flow, of vital organs, of nerves, and even of the nourishment our bodies crave. By the time we reach the end of this exploration, you will know how to recognize these warning signs, and more importantly, the steps you can take to address them before they grow into something more dire. So, I urge you to stay with me, to follow this path to its conclusion, for understanding what your body is trying to say can do more than extend your years. It can ensure those years are filled with vitality, clarity, and a deep abiding peace. If you find value in these words, I encourage you to share your thoughts with others, to join this journey fully, and to let your voice be heard, for in sharing, we find connection, and in connection we find strength. Let us begin with the first of these 4 areas. A persistent itch in the lower legs. A condition so often overlooked, yet so telling of what might be happening beneath the surface. Picture yourself in a small American town, perhaps in the heart of the Midwest, where the air carries the scent of freshly mown grass, and the streets are lined with clapboard houses, each with a story of its own. In one such home lives Harold, a man in his early 80s, a retired farmer who still rises with the sun to take his morning walk around the neighborhood. Harold is a man of habit, his steps steady as he checks his feet and legs each day, finding nothing out of the ordinary. Across town, in a modest apartment above the local bakery, lives Dennis, also in his early 80s. Unlike Harold, Dennis has grown less active in recent years. The days of tending to his garden, or fixing the old Ford in his garage, are long behind him. He spends much of his time sitting, the hours slipping away as he feels a growing fatigue settle into his bones. Lately, Dennis has noticed an itch creeping up his legs, particularly at night or after sitting for long stretches. At first he thought it was nothing more than dry skin, a common complaint in the dry winters of the Midwest. He reached for a jar of lotion, slathering it on his calves and ankles, but the itch persisted, unrelenting, as if it were trying to tell him something he couldn't quite hear. What Dennis doesn't yet realize is that this itch in his lower legs might be his body's way of signaling a deeper problem. Poor blood circulation, a condition doctors call peripheral artery disease. In our later years, the small blood vessels in our lower extremities can struggle to carry blood as efficiently as they once did. When this happens, the skin on our legs can become dry, sensitive and prone to unusual itching. But the issue goes far beyond the surface of the skin. Limited blood flow means that not only does the skin suffer, but the muscles and tissues in our legs begin to weaken over time. This places added strain on our heart, our veins, and our entire vascular system. Our legs, often called the second heart, because of their role in pumping blood back to the rest of our body, are critical to our overall health. If they falter, the entire system feels the impact. Poor circulation has been linked to a higher risk of heart disease, stroke, and even cognitive decline, conditions that can steal away the years we hope to spend with our loved ones. Watching our grandchildren grow, or sharing quiet evenings with a spouse on the porch as the sun sets over the horizon. But there is hope, a light at the end of this shadowed path. This type of itching can often be managed, even reversed, if caught early. Movement is one of the best remedies we have. Gentle leg exercises, short daily walks, like Harold's morning strolls, and elevating your legs while sitting, can all help improve blood flow. Staying hydrated, wearing comfortable compression socks, and cutting back on salty foods can also make a significant difference. If you find yourself scratching at your lower legs, especially if there's no rash or obvious irritation to explain it, don't dismiss it as a trivial annoyance. Your body may be trying to get your attention in the only way it knows how. Take a moment to listen, to consider what it might be saying, for in that act of listening, you may find the strength to change the course of your health, and with it, the length of your days. Now let us turn our attention to the second area of concern, an unexplained itch in the upper or middle back, a place that can be maddeningly difficult to reach, but may carry a message of utmost importance. Imagine two women, both 76 years old, living in a quiet suburb of Atlanta, where the air is thick with the scent of magnolias, and the sound of cicadas fills the evening. Dorothy is a woman who takes care of herself, a habit she learned from her mother, who lived to 93 with a smile that never faded. Dorothy visits her doctor regularly, drinks plenty of water, and takes pride in her glowing skin, a testament to her careful habits. Her friend Janice, however, has been feeling more tired than usual lately. She's noticed a slight swelling in her ankles, a heaviness that she can't quite shake. And then there's the itching, persistent nagging, centered in the middle of her back, especially at night when the world is quiet, and she's left alone with her thoughts. Janice has tried everything she can think of, switching to a gentler laundry detergent, moisturizing more diligently, even changing her nightgown to a softer fabric. But the itch remains, a constant reminder that something isn't right. What Janice doesn't yet know is that this itching in her upper back might be a sign of something far more serious than dry skin, or an irritating tag on her blouse. In older adults, chronic itching in this area can sometimes point to problems with the liver or kidneys, two of the body's most vital organs, responsible for filtering toxins from our blood and maintaining the delicate balance within us. When these organs struggle, waste products can build up in the bloodstream, irritating the skin and causing itching, particularly in areas like the back, where there's a high concentration of nerve endings. For Janice, this itch might be her body's way of signaling that her kidneys are under stress, or that her liver isn't processing toxins as efficiently as it once did. When these organs falter, the effects ripple through the body, impacting everything from digestion and sleep to energy levels and mental clarity. Itching caused by liver or kidney dysfunction is often persistent, unresponsive to typical remedies like lotions or antihistamines, and frequently worsens at night, robbing us of sleep and draining our energy further. More alarmingly, this type of chronic itching has been linked to a shortened lifespan in older adults, not because the itching itself is dangerous, but because it reflects a deeper imbalance that can quietly worsen over time. Yet this is not a cause for despair. but a call to action, a chance to take control before the shadows grow too long. A simple blood test can often reveal how well your liver and kidneys are functioning, giving you the information you need to act. Staying hydrated, eating a diet low in processed foods, cutting back on alcohol, and monitoring your salt intake can all help ease the burden on these organs. If you're taking multiple medications, a common reality for many of us as we age, it's worth speaking with your doctor about their potential impact on your liver and kidneys. The next time your back begins to itch for no apparent reason, don't simply reach for a back scratcher or dismiss it as a quirk of aging. Pause, reflect, and consider what your body might be trying to tell you. Your skin may be the first place where your body shows signs of internal stress, a quiet plea for care that, if heeded, could add years to your life. Years spent sipping lemonade on a porch swing, listening to the laughter of your great-grandchildren as they play in the yard. Let us now move to the third area of concern: frequent itching on the scalp or neck, a sensation that can be both frustrating and revealing. In a small town in upstate New York, where the leaves turn fiery shades of red and gold each autumn, live two men in their late 70s, Leonard and Ray. Leonard is a man who has always found joy in staying active, spending his days tending to his garden or sitting in the park with friends, sharing stories of the past. He ends each evening with a few minutes of quiet meditation, a habit that keeps him grounded, his demeanor as steady as the oak trees that line his street. Ray, on the other hand, has struggled to adjust to retirement. The days stretch long and empty, and he finds himself spending more time indoors, the weight of unspoken stress pressing down on him. Over the past few months, Ray has noticed an itch on his scalp, at first only in the evenings, but soon persisting throughout the day. There's no rash, no flakes, no obvious explanation. He's tried switching shampoos, even buying a new pillowcase, but nothing seems to help. What Ray doesn't yet realize is that this itching on his scalp might be a physical manifestation of emotional and neurological stress, a burden that weighs heavier on us as we age. The nerves around the scalp and neck are particularly sensitive, often the first to react when our bodies are under strain, especially the kind of slow creeping stress that builds over time. As we grow older, our stress responses become less efficient. Instead of calming down after a moment of worry, our bodies tend to remain in a state of low-level alertness, with elevated cortisol levels that suppress immune function and heighten nerve sensitivity. This stress often manifests in the most sensitive nerve endings, like those in the scalp and neck, leading to chronic itching. In some cases, this type of itching has even been linked to conditions like neuropathy, or early signs of cognitive decline, not always a cause for alarm, but certainly a reason to pay attention. The good news is that there are ways to soothe both the itch and the underlying stress that may be causing it. Simple breathing exercises, spending time outdoors, reconnecting with friends, or even jotting down a few thoughts before bed, can help regulate your body's stress signals. For Ray, small changes made a difference. A short morning walk to the corner store, turning off the evening news after dinner, and calling his brother once a week to share a laugh. Over time, the itching began to fade, not overnight, but gradually, as the tension eased from his shoulders and his mind grew quieter. If you're dealing with persistent itching on your scalp or neck, and you've ruled out skin conditions or allergies, take a closer look at your life. Ask yourself how you've been feeling, not just physically, but emotionally. Your body doesn't just react to what's happening on the outside, it responds to what you carry within. Sometimes, that persistent itch is your nervous system tapping you on the shoulder, asking for a moment of care, a small act of kindness toward yourself that could make all the difference. Finally, let us consider the fourth area: persistent itching around the chest or abdomen, a sign that might seem minor, but could point to a significant underlying issue. In a quiet neighborhood in California, where the sun sets over the Pacific in a blaze of orange and pink, live two women, Joyce and Elaine, both 81 years old. Joyce has always loved cooking for herself, preparing colorful meals with fresh fruits, vegetables, and a bit of protein, ensuring that every bite counts, even if she doesn't eat as much as she did in her younger years. Elaine, however, has lost her appetite for food over the past year. She often skips meals, reaching for crackers or canned soup, filling up quickly but feeling unsatisfied. Lately she's noticed an itch across her chest and abdomen, particularly in the evenings, sometimes accompanied by a slight dryness or tenderness. She assumed it was just sensitive skin, perhaps a reaction to her soap, but switching to a gentler brand made no difference. What Elaine doesn't yet know is that as we age, our digestive systems can become less efficient at absorbing the nutrients we need to thrive, especially vitamins like B12, essential fatty acids, and trace minerals like zinc and magnesium. When our bodies lack these vital nutrients, our skin begins to dry out, our nerve signals become erratic, and our immune systems weaken. The result is often sensitivity and itching in areas like the chest and abdomen, where there's a dense network of nerves and blood vessels. But the impact goes far beyond the skin. These internal deficiencies can quietly affect muscle strength, energy levels, and even our ability to stay mentally sharp. The most insidious part of malnutrition in older adults is that it often hides behind a normal weight. You might not be losing pounds, but your body could still be starving for the nutrients it needs to sustain itself. That's why persistent itching in this central part of your body might be more than a minor annoyance. It could be an early sign that your engine is running low on the fuel it needs to keep going strong. The encouraging news is that this issue is one of the easiest to address. Improving your nutrition doesn't require drastic changes. Simple additions like a handful of nuts, a boiled egg, some fresh berries, or even a quality multivitamin can work wonders over time. For Elaine, recognizing the connection between her diet and her itching was a wake-up call. She began to take small steps, adding a piece of fruit to her breakfast, keeping a bowl of almonds on the counter, and asking her daughter to join her for a home-cooked meal once a week. Slowly, the itching subsided, and with it came a renewed sense of energy, a reminder that caring for ourselves is not just about comfort, but about longevity. If you've noticed itching on your chest or abdomen, and haven't been eating as well as you used to, let this be a gentle reminder to nourish yourself, not just for the sake of your skin, but for the sake of your future, for the moments yet to come, like watching the sunset over the ocean, or holding a great-grandchild in your arms. As we draw this journey to a close, let us take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. These 4 areas of itching, on the lower legs, the upper back, the scalp or neck, and the chest or abdomen, are more than mere irritations. They are the whispers of your body, speaking to you in a language as old as time itself. From poor circulation in your legs, to stress on your liver or kidneys, from the toll of emotional strain on your nerves, to the subtle signs of nutritional gaps in your chest and abdomen. Your body is always trying to communicate. It doesn't shout, it murmurs, and those murmurs often come through your skin. The first place where your body's struggles may show themselves. The key is to listen, to hear those murmurs before they grow into cries, before a small warning becomes a larger problem. None of these signs mean that your fate is sealed. Far from it. Each one offers an invitation to check in with yourself, to slow down, and to give your body what it needs. Perhaps you can walk a little more each day, like Harold, taking in the fresh air of a new morning. Perhaps you can eat a little better, like Joyce, savoring the colors and flavors of a meal made with care. Perhaps you can rest a little deeper, like Leonard, finding peace in the quiet moments that restore your spirit. And perhaps you can reconnect with yourself, with your loved ones, with the world around you, finding joy in the simple act of being present. If any of these signs feel familiar to you today, don't ignore them. Start with a small change, a single step toward better health. And if you haven't noticed any of these changes, that's even better. But now you know what to watch for, what to do if things begin to shift. Here in America, where the promise of a long and fruitful life has always been a cornerstone of our dreams, the goal is not just to live longer, but to live better, with clarity, independence, and joy. Listening to your body's early signals, even something as seemingly small as an itch, is one of the wisest ways to achieve that dream. As the sun sets on this chapter of our journey, I thank you for joining me, for taking the time to listen and to learn. I hope you'll share your thoughts, perhaps a lesson you've taken away, or a change you plan to make in your own life. Your voice matters, and in sharing it you inspire others to do the same. Let us continue this journey together, supporting one another as we strive for a life not just long, but rich with meaning, filled with the beauty of each new day.